Okay. Make sure I back up out this garage without hitting something. I'm just kind of tapping in with y'all for a minute to talk about pretty much what basically like creating records. You know, keep in mind, y'all, a lot of things we've been defaulted into stuff. I can't even say defaulted because everything was done from the beginning, from the moment of conception, when our mother realized that, you know, she was pregnant with us, and she did a prenatal consent form where they gave physicians who are also, you know, agents of the state in which you were born, you know, consent. She gave consent to, you know, do these various things on your behalf because you're incompetent. And mother was going to be incompetent as well. She was actually incompetent in order for them to, you know, her to give consent to do some of the things she wasn't able to do for herself. Like, you know, medically related, you know. And those prenatal forms actually gave consent to do certain things to help you out, or so-called to help you out. Some of it was beneficial, some of it wasn't. But as you got older, you know, mother, father, they're both in their ignorance, not knowing what these people are really doing. But it's always companies, got to keep in mind, companies always do what's in the best interest of the company. Not always, not more so in the best interest of the clients who actually patronize the company. So when you come to a company, they're hoping they can make money off of you when you walk in the door. Same thing in these hospitals. You know, there's no exception to them, with them. And so when you become old enough to, you know, to take control of it, keep in mind that presumption of death kicks in after a few years. Presumption of death, and don't necessarily mean you actually dead. A presumption of death, if you look into the history of a presumption of death and what it means, you could simply be missing and not even dead. You know, just like nobody's heard from you. And there's a presumption. And some states may call you absentee. Some may call, you know, someone who's presumed dead. So bottom line is your status. That to me is status correction. You're rebutting the presumptions that may be presumed about you. You know, you could be missing. You know, presumption of death, you're missing. So they're operating with that same power of attorney that had been put in place way when you were first conceived in your mother's womb. They can delegate those authorities throughout your entire life until you rebut those presumptions. To me, that is status correction, because you are rebutting those, you are correcting those presumptions. You're rebutting those presumptions. For one, that you're not dead. Because if you're operating as a fiction, the name in all caps represents something that is dead. And you do certain things. You create records, recording them in the county recorder's office, record them with the Secretary of State, so whatever is required in your state. You record these, creating new records to rebut their old presumptions. To me, is status correction. It makes perfect sense to me. You know, trade name registration, for instance. When you creating a record saying that, you know, that name in all caps, you know, is now owned or, you know, controlled by you, your name in its proper form, in its proper style, is controlled by you, and you're doing business with this particular name and whatever you say, you know, the name, the trade, whatever you're doing with that name, or say the nature of the business is what they call it. I always say estate management or something like that. And that's rebutting the presumption of death as well, because you've come forward and you created a brand new record on their records in the county recorder's office or with the Secretary of State, wherever they want you to do it in your state. You have to read your state statutes to understand where it's located, you know, what they tell you to do about a name. You have to take control of that name. When you take control of it, it rebuts the presumption that you're operating as a fiction, as someone who is missing, someone is incompetent. Incapacitation is the word that they use for someone who actually, when they have these powers of attorney put in place, it's for someone who's actually incompetent. someone in a state of incapacitation. And if you're not in the state of incapacitation, you should be controlling what belongs to you, what was created for you to use. Only you're authorized to use those names, you know. I mean, but if you haven't controlled it, you haven't taken control of it, you just been using it by default because that's what you were taught that was you. So here you are, been acting as a fiction your entire adult life. Acting as a fiction. The name of the United States citizen is the fiction, is the all caps name. So you've been acting as a fiction your entire life as a grown man, as a grown woman. You've been acting as a fiction. You've never taken control of the name. You don't do no trademarks. You know, you trade, do trademark, trade name registration, assumed name, whatever they call it in your state, fictitious name, registration, another one that they call, assumed name, trade name, fictitious name, DBA. You need to take control of those names, create new records that's going to rebut these presumptions. You record those things. Those are prima facie evidence of what it is that you're stating in a court case, in any type of matter, because they're flowing when they come to court cases. They roll with presumptions of your status. And if you have nothing to rebut those presumptions, then you'll be fighting an uphill battle trying to just tell me I'm the living man in these court cases, and you have no evidence to rebut these presumptions. And then once you create these things, now you can use your motions or whatever to handle your cases. I know most of y'all so damn against motions, like y'all just don't use the motherfucking motions, as if somebody on the internet done spewed out in your mind, then corrupted your minds and think that you don't never use a motion. Yet you're running around year after year after year after year fighting these damn court cases on child support. Can't get it, wondering why you can't get something done, and you use a motion and you use it incorrectly because you ain't got nothing else to even support the motion. You got to create records. You can't just not create records. You are a creator. You are a creator. We're all creators. We're supposed to. He who don't assert his rights have none. And if you're not asserting no rights if you don't have no records to put in place. You have nothing to prove what you're saying. You can say something all day long, it's hearsay until you can prove it. And they tell you, even in the state statute, that when you do such things, this is prima facie evidence of the facts. And ask yourself, what sits higher in a court case, a presumption or a prima facie evidence? Which one is going to have stronger merits? Their presumptions or your evidence? But most people sleep on stuff like that, and they don't assert it right. They try to use a whole bunch of other bullshit to go along. I even see some people use a trade name registration, and they use a whole bunch of other bullshit they done heard on the internet. They try to hit them with this and hit them with that and all kind of haymaker shit. It's equivalent to like when we were kids, we see two girls fighting and they both just fighting. They all fighting like this here. These people, they can sense fear. They can sense when somebody don't know what the fuck they doing or what they saying, and they trying all kind of shit. I don't know, man. You have to create records. You have to create records, but you got to also be focused on what you're doing. Your wording also matters. You can't be somebody can't even write complete sentences and you want to create records. You can't even write complete sentences. And you're sloppy with it and don't give a damn about it. That stuff matters. That's why they call it spelling. They're creating spells. You breaking spells with your words. You have to understand how the importance of proper grammar. You got to know how to write your stuff. It's not about, using legalese like the way they use legalese. It's about making your intention clear. Spelling your intentions clear. You put it on paper, spelling it clearly. And you have to be willing to do that stuff. But you create records. That's how you rebutting the presumptions. You record those things. When you serve someone, you rebutting their like even when it come to I talk about powers of attorney. It even tells you have to serve these people. That's putting them on notice. That's putting them on notice. You're rebutting their presumptions. If someone has a, we got when they have these powers of attorney, they're delegating powers. This is why they're able to go off into your bank accounts and freeze your accounts and all this different stuff they're doing. They have that kind of control because you haven't rebutted no presumptions. You haven't created no records. And see, even in Georgia, they tell you, it's not even just Georgia, it's a lot of other states of people I've talked to. They said when you serve somebody a revocation of power of attorney, you take the evidence that you served them, that you actually put them on notice, take that evidence and record it in the county recorder's office. That is proof that they have been put on notice. At that point, their power has been revoked. It's terminated. This is what they tell you. This is not what I'm making up. I've read this and showed it to y'all. And many of you I've talked to privately and looked into your state and read it to you, read what your state says. And it says the same thing. You have to put them on notice when you're revoking the powers of attorney of anybody that's presumed to have these type of power like that. And these springing powers of attorney get put in place. They start off at the moment of conception. It starts from there, and it continues to go. They continue to govern your entire life until you rebut it, till you take control of your situation. That show that you are actually, when you create these records, you are showing that you are now competent. You are now capable of handling your own affairs. You are being self-governing. You don't need anybody controlling you like that. Controlling your money, controlling how you raise your kids and stuff like that, turning you into a debt slave. This is what their child support cases be doing. They be turning y'all into debt slaves, because they got you operating as a fiction, operating as a U.S. citizen. You have nothing to rebut that presumption. You're operating as a fiction, as someone who's incompetent. That's how they're able to do that. But anyway, I thought I'd make a little video before I go and walk up in this gym. I'm going to try to get me a little workout this morning. And hopefully y'all hit the like and subscribe. And hopefully y'all stay encouraged and continue to stay focused. I had a friend of mine gave somebody a video of mine who just can't stand Emerald. So he decided to just try to shoot it down instead of looking at the damn video and seeing, is there any merit to what I'm saying? I like to show y'all what I'm talking about in my videos. With these types of exceptions, anything I'm freestyling while I'm going somewhere, I'm traveling, it's because I've shown you in previous videos. All you gotta do is look at the other videos. If I mention a springing power of attorney, go back and look at the videos that's with that title on there. You'll see the proof of what I'm saying. And apply it accordingly, however you understand it, and when you do your own research to validate it, then you move accordingly. But hopefully you go ahead and like and subscribe, y'all. I'm gonna go in and get in this gym and try to see if I can get fine as hell. And we'll still catch y'all in the next video. Emerald signing out.